So the art of self-advocacy is communicating in a good way, in such a manner that you will come across as somebody who is clear on what they want. At the same time, they are committed in what they are doing. So, examples of self-advocacy. Welcome back to the Sylvia Career Podcast, where we have conversations that matter. Today, we are going to speak about self-advocacy. And before we do that, let's recap what we talked about in the previous episode, which was about life's curveballs and how to navigate them in terms of your career advancement. So today's conversation is something that is dear to my heart, that we really need to speak for ourselves. Yes, reason being that we have been left to believe, or rather made to believe, that our work will speak for us, but that is not true. I like to tell my clients that work has no mouth. You do have a mouth, because nobody is able to read your mind to know that you need anything if you don't speak it out. And whatever is not asked for is always no. Whatever you don't ask for, the answer is always no. And many of us in the corporate world are leaving money on the table because you're not asking. We are not asking for it, just as you've said. So how do we ask? We ask in a certain way, and that's what we are going to unpack today. Self-advocacy means it is stewardship. It is not selfish. I know many people have left meetings, including myself. You have a conversation with your team lead or your leader or someone, a stakeholder, and then you don't express what you wanted to say. You leave a meeting wondering, wow, I should have said this and that and that. I have done that countless times. But until I learned that they will not know what you want to have if you don't ask. So the art of self-advocacy is what we are discussing today. So I know that many people have believed that when you speak about yourself, you're bragging, but that is not true. It is the how we say it. We are not coming out as bragging or showing off, but we are just acknowledging our own, or rather owning our own stories and using it to advance that which you want. Because that means when you have evidence of having done something, then you would be able to do some more whenever you express that you would like to do it. So self-advocacy is your responsibility in your corporate world, or rather in your corporate job, or in any other job that you're doing. If you don't speak for yourself, no one else will. You know your story better than anyone else could say. And I remember one time I was having a conversation with a leader, and they asked me to go ahead and pitch this presentation of a project that I wanted to do. And this leader was gracious enough to tell me, look, yes, I can speak for you. However, you speak for yourself, because I risk misselling what you wanted to say. And for me, that was a great opportunity. At first, I thought that this person, why don't they want to speak for me? And that's when I learned that they were throwing me into the deep waters so that I can learn the art of asking for myself. Yes, I know that there is a belief system that work will speak for itself. But sadly, work doesn't. It doesn't speak. There are scenarios, I know, in our journeys, depending on who you believe in, as a Christian, we always know that God rewards that which we do in secret. Because He is God and He is able to see. But when it comes to your boss, they are not God. They will not see whatever you do unless you are the one who is saying it. Because they have quite a number of people that under his care. They are not like God, because God knows He has created everybody and He has everyone in His hands. Your boss does not have everything in everybody in his hands or her hands. So I think, not I think really, the reality is human beings are human beings. They are forgetful. They would not remember many things that you have done if you do not remind them. Yes, so speak for yourself, because not that people are selfish, not that people are bad. It is only that they are just human, and it is in natural for them to forget things. So you need to really speak for yourself. So, how do we speak for ourselves? How do we advocate for ourselves? And I will use three things that for you to speak to yourself, you need to have clarity of purpose and mind, and having your values as a person. So when you're speaking out on the things that you would like or you desire, you base it on your values, yes, what drives you as a person, and also the value that you are adding into the team that you are in when you are speaking about yourself. So when you have that in mind, what do I want to achieve? Who do I really want to help? Or what problem am I solving? Is it contributing to the bottom line? Once you have that clarity of what it is, it becomes easy for you to articulate. So when it comes to going to advocate now for yourself in a performance review, which I encourage you to be the one leading them most of the time. Yes, there is the part that is designed that it ought to be done as per the company regulations and rules, but you can actually lead yours by, when you have a regular check-in with your boss, you can take the time to say what you have been doing and articulating it in a clear, having that clarity of purpose and mind, and it needs to be aligned into the organization's values and the bottom lines that need to be achieved. Yeah, so having that clarity of mind will enable you to advocate for yourself. Yes, there is a place for a team lead or your boss to advocate for you, but you need to start it. It is you who needs to start the the process, and then they will pick it up, because they will be seeing, they would remember now, that project that was successful was done by you, and they would be able to speak better for you. So that means self-advocacy would start with you first. There is no way somebody else would advocate for you if you're not advocating for yourself. It's very, very difficult. It starts from a place of relationship, then another person would advocate for you. So another part is courage to do the self advocacy. I know many people hold back because they feel they are not bold enough, or they are not confident to advocate for themselves. But the best place to start in is in starting small, starting with the small things. Like when you get that acknowledgement, or rather a compliment, you should be able to share it with your team lead or your boss and explain. The compliment will just may not give the summary of everything that you have done, but go back to the story where you did something good and you got compliments from people, or from people that matter in your career. So when you get that compliment, you record it and then articulate it very well by sharing that small win with your team lead or your boss. When you build it that way, it gives you the courage to speak for yourself. Another thing is raising your hand to share a perspective in a meeting. When you share a perspective in a meeting, it gives you the courage, even however small it is, because it is actually self-sabotage not to speak for yourself about the things you have done, because nobody would remember. We forget many things as human beings, as alluded earlier in the conversation. So you need to have that courage to do it. And how you build courage is doing it little by little. You don't wait for you to do so many things, and then now you will have the confidence. So the third thing that you need to have is be good at communication. Learn your communication skills so that you can come across nicely when you're advocating for yourself. For example, instead of I did this in a way that may come out like braggish, you can say I helped to solve a particular problem, and this is the match it brought, and this was the effect. So you communicate it as a way of passing information, but you will have advocated for yourself in a subtle and in a succinct and a subtle way. So that is the part of part 3 of self-advocacy. You need to really be good communicator. And communication skills are practiced. It is not a one-off. It is an everyday thing. Be deliberate on how you communicate, and that way you would be able to advocate for yourself seamlessly and easily. The other part is confidence to ask for things for yourself. You need to build confidence. And again, confidence is built over time. Yeah, there is a podcast I did about the confidence, so you can actually go and listen to it. I will tag it into this podcast so that you can refer to it. So the part of the confidence is you build confidence by starting also small, and starting small and preparing well. So you prepare to do your self-advocacy. So the art of self-advocacy is communicating in a good way, in such a manner that you will come across as somebody who is clear on what they want. At the same time, they are committed in what they are doing. So examples of self-advocacy that I can give is, one of them is asking for a promotion. When you ask for a promotion, you need to prepare for that. But how do you do it? You articulate what you have done. So in other words, you are speaking into the things that you've been doing. So an example of what happens in my world as a coach is sometimes we have scenarios where somebody does not talk about their achievements at work, and so they think or imagine that their boss would be able to see their good work and give them promotion. All right, it's not automatic that your boss would be able to give you a promotion, because when you don't communicate, they would not know that you need it. They would assume you are comfortable where you are, and if anything, your regular job, you're already paid for it. So if you do not self-advocate for you to get something better, to advance in your career, nobody will do that for you. So when you are communicating about a promotion, you need to build a business case for yourself. One example is just the way I have said how you can articulate your achievements to your boss. Make sure you are noting down your achievements. Have a gratitude journal where you keep the receipts of what you have achieved in a particular period, so that when your promotion comes, it is easy for you to get promoted, because it shows you are aware of what you're doing and the extra things that you've been able to bring and the value you're adding in an organization. For example, one of the coaching experience that I had recently is like, not many of us know that we need to advocate for ourselves. Many think that your boss are still is able to know what you want and give you the promotion because of how many years you've worked, not articulating many things. How much experience do you have? But that is not true. In today's world, we need to advocate for ourselves, because nobody would remember what you have done unless you are saying it. So, and a few people that are doing that are getting themselves into promotions, or they are getting themselves into leadership, or they are having career advancements because they are advocating for themselves. So you need to learn the art, and you will refer to the points I've just said, the 4 points about how to advocate for yourself in the workplace. So another scenario is whereby you have a project that maybe it did not go too well. So what you need to do is you play out the key points, the key things that you did and the things that never worked well. Have a plan on how you can have them not repeated next time. You see, that way you would be able to demonstrate that you acknowledge, yes, there was a failure, but you have noted where the failure was, and there is plan for you to have that rectified once and for good and for all. So for you, it is going deeper on what really happened, identifying the root cause, and then now coming up with the solutions so that the same doesn't occur again. That is on the part that you are acknowledging, or rather solving or taking responsibility for what did not go well. That is also an opportunity for self-advocacy. Another part is when you're communicating boundaries. Yes, I know many people have an habit of not knowing when to say no, or rather feeling like if I say no, I would be come out as a non-team player. There is a strategy on how to communicate that. So when something is coming to you, being requested, or rather there is something that's coming to your attention and you do not have the capacity to handle at that time, you would say yes and propose a better way of doing it. That way you will come out not as a person who is difficult, but you're communicating in a way that you are offering a solution. Yes, problems are solved with solutions. So that way you're giving a solution. So yes, that is a no. You have said you have no capacity, but you've said it in a good way and in a way that will come across as a team player, because we know that most of the time people find it difficult to say no, especially to the people that are in authority to them. But it is okay for you to explain that nicely when you're setting boundaries for yourself, maybe your personal boundaries, maybe your work boundaries, and all that. And also, when you're working on a project that requires you to prioritize one thing over another, that way you may be able to communicate that I am not able to take at this point. However, I have somebody who can help in that manner. So that way you will not just be blocking things from happening. You will not be saying no for the sake of saying no. In that way, you're building yourself. You're actually advocating for yourself when you're doing that. Yes. So another aspect is advocating for yourself in networking events and all that. And of course, this one you need to be really smart in how you do it. You will not just go announcing your things to everybody and everywhere, depending on where the networking event is. It happening within the same organization where everybody is a member, is a colleague. That way, it's that networking can help because you can be able to articulate. However, don't sound like a robot. You just be able to listen carefully, or rather actively listen, so that you can be able to pick what needs to and be wise to know, or rather, yes, be wise to know when to say where and to whom. That way you would be advocating for yourself. Able to take projects that are key and are going to help you in advancing your career. That's another way of also advocating for yourself, because when you raise your hand to take a project, you would be enhancing your visibility, and that way you will have gotten an opportunity to showcase what you are about. So there are some directly speaking. Others are you taking initiatives which will help you in your career advancement. And others are using the people around you to help you advance. So, in other words, self advocacy is actually a build up for you to getting an advocate. Yeah, because you can imagine how many are you in a team and there is only one person who is responsible for all of you. We will know clearly they will not be able to remember each and every one of you by what they did. So it is critical for you to speak for yourself, because when you speak for yourself, you are also showing that you can do it. You are demonstrating that you can do the work that you want to do. Because otherwise, when somebody else speaks for you, they might not articulate exactly what you mean. Just in my story, I told you that a leader told me to go ahead and go through a presentation or a pitch deck that I needed to present, because not that they were not able to do it, but they wanted me to learn the ropes and all that, because this person clearly said that, yes, but there is a way you will come across which I may not come across in such a manner. So all that I knew was that this person had actually gone ahead of me, already did what I needed to do. So when I was doing the presentation, it was just a way of getting from me exactly what it was about. So whenever you get to speak to yourself, you get speak for yourself, you get to earn confidence that maybe you're struggling with. Yeah, confidence comes by taking action. So taking action and consistently. That's the way we say it. Start small, courage will come. Start small, confidence will come. Again, everything is just starting and keeping at it. Yeah, be committed enough to continue this. And self advocacy does not stop when you get the promotion that you are looking for. Yeah, self advocacy continues until you get that which you've been desiring. Every level requires new, different sets of skills. It requires new levels of engagement, and it requires you to speak a little bit more about yourself. So learn to communicate about you in a way that is not coming off as bragging, but in a way that comes as a communication, or yes, a communication. And just know that self advocacy is not selfish, it is actually stewardship. Yes, it's not selfish, it is stewardship. Why? Who is a steward? A steward is a person who has been charged with the responsibility of doing a particular thing. So you are the steward of your own career in this case. You are the steward of your own growth in this life that you are in right now. So if you do not take the responsibility to be the great steward, no one else will do that for you. Yes, a steward is a steward at the end of the day, and then there is the roles that are done by different people. So if you are not taking care of that which you have by making sure that you advance to your level that you should be, then you will be selling yourself short. So, contrary to the popular opinion that work speaks for itself, it is not anymore. The work that speaks for you already start the speaking by making sure you have a paycheck. That one speaks for itself, yes, already. But any advancement that you need to make, you must actively take responsibility to do that. And it is a daily practice. Whenever you go to start your daily work, you need to plan to advocate for yourself in every aspect where possible. But of course, I'm not saying that you constantly speak self advocacy all the time. Be wise to know when, know the seasons, and know the opportunity. Don't let any opportunity pass you by because you failed to speak. Yes, and even when you realize that you failed, seek audience of the persons that needed to hear what you had in mind. Prepare well for it. Then make it a routine to always advocate for yourself in places that you want to advance. All right. I think I have mentioned that work does not speak for you anymore, and I have explained why. So that drop that myth that work will speak for me, because it doesn't. As we have seen, that human beings are human beings, and they are prone to forget what you have done, not because they are malicious or anything, but because they're just humans, as you said. They tend to forget. When you remind them, the next conversation that happens, and there is somebody to be given an opportunity to do something that is going to give you a stepping stone for you to advance in your career, they will have you at the top of mind because you've been speaking about it, you've been expressing interest, and you've been doing initiatives that are contributing to the bottom lines. Yes, so take the opportunity this week and advocate for yourself as much as you can, and practice it ahead of time as much as you can, because practice makes progress, not perfect. You need to keep progressing. So where you start, keep at it. So that is it for today. And I hope you're going to take action on advocating for yourself, because advocating for yourself is helping yourself to progress, and even attracting who you need to attract so that you can grow in your career. Otherwise, when you don't speak, nobody will be willing to invest in you because they don't know what your interests are. They will not be forcing things on you because they don't know. People respect other people's boundaries, so they may not come to ask you. I know there are situations where somebody can ask you, but there are moments where we believe that you already know what you want, and we expect you to ask when you need it. So, in fact, you will be surprised that the moment you go asking, your team leader or the person responsible for you would have been waiting. Some may be candid to tell you how I have waited for you to come up, but you haven't. So go ahead and take action today so that you can grow in your career and become that which you want to become. Don't hold back. There are things that might hold you back, but control what you can control. That is, do your bit, and the rest will fall into place. That's it for today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.